Supernatural dreams can occur in any level of sleep: light rest, regular sleep, deep sleep, or even in a trance-like state. We're going to talk about trances here next. But all of those could be, in all of those stages, you can have dreams. What I find when I talk to people in the books that I read, in my personal experience, is that in a deep sleep, we often get symbolic dreams. Now, I'm not stating that as a rule or as the fact. I'm just stating an observation from my personal life and from those that God uses in that particular, more deeper in that particular state. In deep sleep, this is where oftentimes we get symbolic dreams that might need interpretation. Now, what I find for me personally, where I get literal dreams with instructions or other things that the Lord wants to communicate, more in the light rest, or Bible calls it slumber, where you're not asleep, but you're not quite awake. You know that state where you feel like you're right about to fall under into a deep sleep, but you're not. You're still consciously awake. There's a scientific term to it, and I thought I'd written down, but it doesn't. I don't see it in my notes. I've had it somewhere in the other lesson. So in that light sleep, I often have these have these dreams or visions, and oftentimes they are literal, meaning, like, for example, when I was in Florida ministering a couple of weeks ago, and I was waking up already, I was already out of my deep sleep. I was already consciously awake, but I still kept my eyes closed and just kind of laying in bed. And all of a sudden, I was taken to the church that I was about to minister, and the Lord showed me the person and where the person would be sitting. I was in the sanctuary as if I was preaching. I saw the person. I saw the skin color of the person. I saw who the person was, where they are, what's their issue, and what year their issue started in. And so when I came out of that slumber, or like when I was coming out of a sleep, when I came out, I already knew who I need to minister. So when I came into the service, sure enough, that person, just like I saw them in that light sleep, was sitting on that chair on the inside row, on the edge, on the right side, and it looked exactly like that person. And when I called her out prophetically, those of you that are in Florida, there's a couple of you that came out to visit. Everything was spot on, and I received it before the service. So I find that when I meditate and pray, and if I like to take, for that reason, I like to take a short power nap before the services, because in those moments, oftentimes I find either as right as I'm about to fall asleep, or when I come out of that short nap, the Lord speaks to me about the services. A lot of men of God practice that technique, especially those that move in prophetic. I know Prophet T.B. Joshua and many others that have shared. I remember one crusade that we were in I want to say it was Columbia, but maybe it wasn't Columbia. We already having crusade. The crusade is going for about 2.5 hours, 2 hours. I am part of the crew that is about to pick up Prophet T.B. Joshua from hotel and drive him to the crusade. The crusade is in full swing already. Everybody is waiting for him, and so comes out of the room, and all of a sudden it says, "The Lord told me to go back into the room to sleep." We were like, "What? What do you mean? Like, there is 35,000 people waiting. That crusade is almost 3 hours in. Literally, all of that prerequisite programs are already done. The offering is done. The worship is done. We're back to the second worship. Testimonies are done. Everything is done. And he's like, he's already dressed up, ready to go. And he's like, the Lord told me to go back to sleep. And we're like panicking and freaking out. Like, what do we tell people that are waiting for us at the hotel, at the Coliseum, at the thing? And so we're like, okay, well, I guess it is what it is. Hopefully it's not going to be like a couple hours. And then I'd be like 45 minutes later, 40 minutes later, He comes out in the room, says, everybody, let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's get in the car. And we was like, oh, now you're rushing. Okay. And then he's sharing. He said, the Lord already showed me everything that I need to do at this service, who I'm going to be praying, where I'm going to be praying, where should I go, where should I not go, what should I say, what should I not say. I already saw the whole crusade unravel. I just got to go do what I've seen done, and that's it. And that crusade was extremely powerful. This is the night, I believe, that we saw a person that was laying on the mat, completely paralyzed, wasn't able to walk, got up. It was like the first miracle that he did that, and everywhere he moved, was just crazy miracles were happening. I don't even know how many hundreds of people that got out of wheelchairs that night. It was crazy. So anyways, that was the experience. And so the more men of God I talk to, that move prophetically, seems like they kind of cracked that secret about that light rest, a little power nap before the service, and that little state of slumber, at least in my case, in some cases of other people, where the Lord shows or gives instructions, and usually it's literal.